times Judge Lauren Lake cried on paternity court.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
I love you, and I forgive you, man.
The emotion you express. I sit here every day, and what I try to do is be a voice for kids like you. But I couldn't have said it better. Proud of you.
3 adults and 2 different mothers were in a paternity showdown. The suspense was building as these guys aimed to prove the identity of a mysterious father. Yep, all 3 claimed the single defendant to be the daddy.
Want to know why he wasn't in my life? Why would you sign my birth certificate if you deny me as your child? It hurts me like, oh, get out. You messed my life up. You know that now. Because
Take your time.
I died 3 times in the hospital because of you, man. And I hate you for that. I want to let you know that.
Well, if these guys were prepared, so was Mr. Medley Sr., who seemed to have left a trail of doubts and affairs. It's like a twisted love triangle over here. Even though he and baby mama ended up getting married, surprises were waiting just around the corner.
When I met her when I was playing in a band, which was about maybe 3 blocks from where she lived. She would come, she would be there, And after about 4 weeks, she came up and introduced herself to me. But as time went on, I started hearing rumors that she was having sex with other men.
Oh boy, those doubts were as real as they could get. And they cut deep. Both Herons had their reasons as to why they thought they were denied their whole life, and they laid them all out in the open for the daddy to see. Was it betrayal? Or was there more to this complicated story?
It hurts me so much to hear this man sit here in this courtroom and lie to you like that. Look at me. Do our door not look like you? Honestly. Spitting image. But why were you never there? That's what I want to know. Me and my brother and sister want to know why were you never there for us?
Let me ask you a question. If you had a child with a woman and you didn't believe it was yours, would you be there?
Moving on, the hurt and pain was pretty real with these guys. The hospital drama proved to be the last nail in the coffin for their parents' divorce. Yup, the absence of the father was glaringly obvious at that point.
I remember his mom being at the hospital. All my family was there. And I remember somebody picking me up, showing me him in the incubator. Not even 1 yet. With tooth stuff all on him because somebody buried him and we still don't know who did it. He said it was a babysitter that we don't even know about. We never seen his babysitter. And then on top of that, he didn't even come to the hospital until way later.
There's a whole lot of emotional turmoil and the court was drowning in it. And we know how much of a softie Judge Lauren Lake is, so she jumped straight into the paternity of the 2 sons first. Cue the tears, folks.
It has been determined by this court. You are the father. Do you have anything to say to your sons?
And I'm glad that they are. If your mother hadn't led such a promiscuous lifestyle, we wouldn't even be here.
First of all, my mom is not promiscuous. Second of all, my mom loved you.
Well, these results were certainly eye-opening for the daddy dearest, and the guy still had the audacity to just stand there and do nothing. Well, that won't fly in this court. Nuh-uh.
It's taking all of my energy right now to not come off this bench and just hug them up. But what I do see in these young men is that if you would just take an honorable step in their direction, they would receive you. Yes.
Next in line for a paternity test was Miss Johnson. Now, she grew up without a father, and at one point, she just had enough of that. She took matters into her own hands, but her dear old mommy proved to be somewhat difficult. Oh yeah.
I had asked my mom, one day I was looking in my mirror when I was a teenager and I didn't look like her anymore. I don't know who I'm looking at. The stranger that I'm looking at in the mirror, I need to know. So I was like, Mom, this is enough. I just need to know what's the name of my dad. So she told me his name was Victor Medley, but you are not to contact him while you are in my house.
So the baby daddy had no idea he had a daughter. And then bam, Facebook gave him one heck of a surprise. However, the supposed father-daughter duo had slightly different versions of how the events went down. Uh-oh.
I text you, you didn't text back. I called you, you didn't answer the phone. I left you a message, you didn't leave me a message back. I sent you a message on Facebook and I waited for at least a week and you did not answer me. So then I told you, delete them pictures off of Facebook, take my kids off of Facebook. We don't want nothing to do with you because when I found out about my brothers and you denied my brothers to me.
Buckle up, people, because the plaintiff was on a daddy-bashing train and she was not planning to slow down at all. Yup. Guess she was done waiting all these years for him to step up. and now all she wanted was closure.
Y'all done broke me down now. I tried to hold the tears back. Proud of this moment, because it was if Mr. Medley came in here today as almost the villain. But the power of love and forgiveness can overtake any wrong.
Gather some tissues, people. We are about to reveal the results. Yep, they were in for Miss Johnson. Time to see whether love and forgiveness will take center stage, or will the journey continue? Here goes nothing.
You are not her father. Mr. Medley, what are you feeling now?
I don't know. I thought she was my daughter.
Miss Johnson, if you didn't know before, he really cared.
The last time the plaintiff laid eyes on the potential father was 16 years ago. And now, Mr. Gower was on a quest to prove that Mr. Ducasse was his biological father. Are they ready for this emotional reunion? I think not.
When you just walked up, I looked at Mr. Gower. You couldn't really even look at him. You didn't look at him. You didn't look at one another. You say you are certain that you're not the plaintiff's biological father, and you claim you had a one-night stand with Mr. Gower's mother, and she was in a long-term relationship with another man.
The defendant straight up denied this possibility and seemed sure of that testimony. But wait till you hear what the son had to say in response. Man, he made something of his life despite his absence, and yet the void gnawed at him.
This has been real hard for me. This is an emotional moment for me. The fact that for 24 years of my life, not having no mother, losing her when I was 4 years old, and then the fact that my father just stranded me, knowing the pressure that I'm gonna have to deal with by myself, of not being there for me, it hurts me.
The relationship backstory unfolded as Mr. Ducasse revealed that he used a withdrawal effort during their one-night stand. And boy, did that add an extra layer of doubt to the situation. His reaction to the pregnancy news was hardly enthusiastic, to say the least.
Why did you name him Sanchez after your best friend? You came to the hospital.
No.
You said his head was shaped just like yours. And matter of fact, looking at your head now, and then looking back at Sanchez when he was first born, y'all's head do look alike.
It appears both parties had certain grievances with each other, and Mr. Ducasse had a whole list of them. Well, the judge simplified their issues for them, while being on the brink of tears herself.
I feel like these moments are so important. It never ceases to amaze me how for 20 and 30 and 40 years, moments in time that have been perceived by two people in two completely different ways can draw a line in the sand that they never figure out how to cross for years and years and years.
Safe to say, these guys had a lot of issues to work through. Well, they will keep the family counselors quite busy. Apparently, baby daddy pulled the vanishing act on the son, and the trouble began.
How can men have sex with women, get them pregnant, and then just leave them and put a toll on that child when this child didn't ask to be here? That puts a lot on these kids out here, and nobody would never understand how these children feel. A lot of these kids wasn't raised up on love, they was raised up on survival. That's why there's a lot of young men that's in jail or dead.
So the last 16 years without the father were just tragic for this guy. The grandparents had to step into the roles of parents for their grandchild, and the guy made a life for himself, which was nothing short of commendable, and Lauren applauded that fact and more.
When I hear you speak, I am so proud of you and what you've been able to accomplish. And if nobody else says it, I am proud of you.
I'm here to tell you that could you handle being in my shoes? Could you handle not having your mother not in your life and then your father leaving you? Could you imagine what your life could be like?
As the case headed towards the conclusion, Mr. Gower took one last look at the defendant and raised the one question that kept nagging him all these years. Oh boy, you better gather some tissues, cause stuff was about to get real emotional. And when Judge Lake cries, you better believe it's gonna get you too.
I think he does understand the things you're saying.
Okay.
And I mean, he's a young man, but at 24, I think he understands that life continues to happen. I mean, it really does. But it doesn't negate the fact that there was an innocent life out there. And I think that's what Mr. Gower is saying. Now, Mr. Gower, you have brought me to tears today.
I warned you gonna have tears and snot watching this young fella display all kinds of emotions. And there were more, as Lauren Lake and Mr. Gower have one heart-to-heart.
The emotion you express. You know, I sit here every day, and what I try to do is be a voice for kids like you. But I couldn't have said it better than you said it today. Proud of you.
The moment of reckoning was here. The judge had the results, and we are all on the edge of our seats, aren't we? Let's see whether this decade-old mystery finally gets a conclusion or not.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ducasse, you are the father.
Have mercy, Lord. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I did lie to him.
A father was here to battle for the paternity of his baby. Mommy had a change of heart and now sang a different tune. Different baby daddy. Let the paternity rumble begin.
We were moving out of my best friend's apartment, and it was just about that I got the truck loaded up with everything. And I went upstairs to grab my last box, and my best friend at the time pulled me aside and told me him and my brother had both slept with me.
Well, honestly, it just happened. I didn't do it out of spite towards him or anything.
Brace yourself for a wild ride that was this relationship drama. So Mr. Deggs happened to get a surprise of a lifetime from his best friend. And guess what? The baby mama admitted to it. And that too without an iota of remorse. Ouch!
It's not because I'm a bad person. I was lacking affection from him. He was never home. He was always...
I work, Your Honor. I work full time to make sure that her nails and her hair get done.
After he would get off work, he never came home. He left me in the apartment all the time with a roommate that he knew was attracted to me and wanted to be with me.
Dear God, Miss Guerin's pregnancy was just a maze of doubts, deceit, and a tangled web of infidelity. Loyalty was like finding a needle in the haystack. The baby mama betrayed the baby daddy in every way possible.
With his
brother. It was an attraction. He was paying me the attention that Jason was not.
Because I was at work.
I felt replaceable to Jason.
What did you want me to do?
I felt replaceable to him. So yes, I did look for affection and everything I want in a relationship.
Well, the origin of pregnancy was sketchy at best, and the defendant's actions led to more and more turmoil. Surely, after all this, the guy must bid farewell to baby mama. Well, you guessed wrong. Oh yeah, he stayed.
I loved her that much that I wanted to work on it again.
Wow.
Because I loved her that much.
Because he knew he cheated from the gate.
No, because I loved you.
Okay.
Maybe you cheated as well. However, that would not affect the paternity of the child we're talking about.
When I found out I was pregnant, we had a lot of problems. We had already cheated on each other.
The window of conception was murky. The confusion was real. And desperation? Well, that was at an all-time high. The plaintiff stayed, and the mommy's response to that was just an okay. And that was so not okay with the judge.
Do you understand why he was hurt, Ms. Guerin? You're the one that's here with a paternity issue regarding the child in question. You're the one that slept with his brother and his best friend. You were the only one during the entire pregnancy that knew that there was doubt.
Moving on, the baby daddy took us to the day the "you are not the father" bomb got dropped on him. Turns out mommy had no knack for subtlety, huh? However, she claimed she wasn't cold and callous though. I know. Hard to believe that one.
The reaction that I got from him, he was happy and we wanted a family. We were together. I did feel like we could build a family together. And then, yes, I did have to tell him because I was struggling within myself of the truth.
You're not
me a lot.
just that cold and callous.
Absolutely
it was bugging
not.
you.
Absolutely.
You would think that after that revelation, the guy would now be finally done with the woman. But nope, the man still stayed. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Ain't he proven that right? However, his current girl was supporting him though. So, all's not lost, I guess.
The minute we started dating, all the problems came. Megan would blow up his phone. She texted him and was like, "You better keep your job, honey, because all I want is your money."
I never, ever said
And she was
that.
like, "All I want is your money. All you
I
need
made
to do
my
is go
own
to
money,
work."
honey.
And you saw these texts.
Megan did not like me from the gate.
Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Yep, the results were in and ready to be revealed. Judge Lake seemed to be just done with the attitude of the baby's mama and gave the final verdict. Oh, but Miss Guerin was just begging for trouble. Well, she got a heavy dose of it.
Mr. Diggs, you are not the father.
I don't know how I'm gonna say goodbye to him. That's all I've ever known to be my child. I live for him. I've been living for him.
Everything you've done thus far.
A classic tale of devotion and deception was about to unfold here, folks. Mr. Jones had a dream come true fatherhood. Sadly, it quickly turned into a nightmare. Mrs. Jones admitted to her infidelity, and now we're about to witness the most sarcastic dance of is she or isn't she in the world of paternity court.
Your Honor, my household been upside down. I'm sleeping on the couch. Your Honor, I never said nothing, but I always had some type of doubt. Ever since I found out she cheated, I always had doubt. I never
And you haven't said
I never
anything.
said nothing, but I look at her, and I'm trying to see me. I'm trying to see me in her.
And so you stepped up.
So you don't see you in her?
Sometimes.
So the baby mama finally let the cat out of the bag, though she did that during a heated argument. Oh, the betrayal. Hard to come back from that one, right? And on top of that, it appears mommy was in desperate need of a biology lesson.
Yes, I did tell him, but that was in the heat of the moment. I did, mess up in the past around this time of conceiving. And, we all are human, we all make mistakes. I regret it, I'm very ashamed, I'm embarrassed, but it is a doubt in my mind as well.
Well, the roller coaster continues as we learn how they ended up here. It seems the husband had a friend who was the informant, catching the missus red-handed, and that led to a revelation that shook their relationship to its core.
I thought, in my head, I believed that he had someone and that on the side. So I said, why put my all into it?
So how often did you sleep with this other man?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna sit here and lie, it was about 2 times.
The tit-for-tat game was biting back strong now, ain't it? Moreover, it seemed baby daddy had lived a hip, happening life, and according to his exhibit, he failed to impregnate anyone in all those years. So how did he manage to do that to the wifey? Now that was the million-dollar question.
There's a 25-year age difference. You find out your wife is pregnant, and what goes through your mind?
I couldn't believe it. I didn't think I could have a baby at that age. I was 48 years old.
So you didn't think you could even produce a baby at 48 years old?
No, because my lifestyle, and I was in the street, hanging out, doing a lot of things, and I thought maybe,
Moving on, it appears Miss Jones was not aware that the doubts and reservations of her husband Dearest ran this deep. And that led to a pretty emotional altercation next. She was in the court now. No use keeping anything secret at this stage.
I've reformed from my past. My past is one that is very, very hard to talk about. I have done and said and a lot of things that I'm not proud of today. That I would
To your husband?
To my husband, in my life period before my child. When my child changed me, she saved me. She was sent from God.
The baby mama really wanted the husband to be the father. The marriage, along with the baby, hinged on those results. But before we go to that part, you have to watch how the baby mama appeared to be sure she got pregnant by Mr. Jones.
I just want to say this. Is it possible, because around the time of conception, his sperm did something to me in one of the nights before conceiving, like weeks before, because I only knew that I was pregnant around 2 months. I felt his sperm go inside me and then spread out like a spider web.
The suspense has reached its climax. But no worries, because it was the results time. Will the baby mama get her wish fulfilled and this marriage get saved? Or did that one mistake cost her everything now? Let's find out.
Mr. Jones, you are the father. Can I have him? Yes.